When life gives you lemons.
You create a
podcast.
So if you're not on the YouTube side, please hop on right now so you can see our lovely guest. She's here today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. But please welcome YouTuber, Disney influencer, and future author Krystal Everdeen.
Yay, hello. Thank you guys so much for inviting me to be a part of your podcast today.
Thank you so much for coming. So we're just gonna kick off this episode. I feel like we should let them know this is a very funny moment, but also a little like so this is our second round, Lemon Talkers. I take the blame. It was my fault. I wasn't recording the first time, so we're doing it again. It's all right. We're getting that amazing content for you all. So.
Yeah,
our apologies.
All right, so let's get started. Go ahead, Dulce.
So please introduce yourself one more time for our Lemon Talkers. Who you are, what you do, and all the great stuff.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Krystal Everdeen, and I would be considered a Disney influencer. But I like to think of myself as just, a YouTuber who loves to share her experiences through my adventures, my crochet knowledge, and just like fun things in general. I'm also going to be an author, or rather I am an author, but I'm waiting for my book to be published this June, which is very exciting as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And we're excited for you to join us. Thank you. So our question next is that how did you get into being a Disney influencer and YouTuber? And then what inspired you to continue the job?
Okay, so I guess I have to tell you my entire social media journey, and then we could get to the Disney. Sorry, this is going to be really long. But so I first started my social media journey by sharing crochet tutorials on my YouTube channel. I really wanted to be a YouTuber since forever. So I started sharing crochet tutorials. I noticed that a lot of people really enjoyed the crochet tutorials, so I just continued making more. And I was known as the crochet person on YouTube, especially because when I started making crochet tutorials, there weren't a lot of people doing that. The only kind of crochet tutorials that were being shared on YouTube at the time were the typical, granny projects like scarves and blankets and socks or beanies, kind of things like that. Not necessarily crochet tops like the ones that I share. So that gained popularity. I started to gain a following on YouTube. And then I opened an Instagram, and I didn't really know what to do on Instagram. I was kind of sharing my crochet top photos, beach pictures. I don't know. I didn't really care too much about Instagram until a couple years later. I got a Disneyland annual pass, and I started sharing my adventures throughout Disneyland. And once I started sharing my adventures through Disneyland, I was able to kind of become part of the Disney community that's online. I didn't even know that there was a Disney community online, but once I found it, I felt at home, because for the longest time, I thought that, once you pass a certain age, you're not pretty much not allowed to like Disney anymore, and that I was a weirdo. But then once I realized that I'm not a weirdo, there's a ton of people who are adults and love Disney, and it's perfectly fine, and I loved it. So I became part of the Disney community. And from there, a lot of opportunities opened up. So that was kind of my journey. I went from just crochet to, after I got my annual pass, I started spending a lot of time at Disneyland, sharing my adventures and my outfits and stuff that I wore to Disneyland. And then, that's pretty much how I got into becoming a Disney influencer.
Thank you. And you said your audience has grown, so Dulce wants to ask you a question about collaborations.
So I guess a question I wanted to ask was, how do you do these collaborations? How do you work with these different brands such as Box Lunch, Hot Topic, Shein, Danielle Nicole, and how do you feel just being a part of them?
Well, I feel amazing being able to work with these really fun, bigger brands. And it all started, and it kind of continues to be this way. It all started by a brand actually reaching out to me just kind of randomly. I don't know how the heck they found me, but I'm so grateful that they did. So I'll tell you the story of how me working with brands all started. So after just a couple months of being in the Disney community and sharing my adventures throughout Disneyland and my outfits and stuff, I received an email from Box Lunch, and I love Box Lunch. They're one of my favorite stores ever. So when I received the email, I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. And they offered me an opportunity to go to a Halloween event, which was the Freeform Halloween House. And they said, well, the only catch is that you have to go tomorrow. Like the event is tomorrow, so you have to go. So that's why I'm thinking that even though I was fairly new to the Disney community, then and I would think that they would invite someone who's like bigger, more well-known. But because it was so last minute, I'm thinking that I kind of got lucky in a sense that nobody else was available. So they invited me. I like absolutely dropped everything. I was like, I have to go to this event, because if I don't go to this event, then they'll probably think like, oh, she's, difficult to work with or whatever. So I wanted to open up that door so I could potentially work with them again in the future. So I made sure to go to that event, and it was so much fun. I was able to be featured on the Box Lunch website, or not the website, the page, the Instagram page. And from there, I gained even more followers. And I want to say that by going to that event, it also helped me be discovered by Disney, because the event that I went to was a Freeform event, and Freeform is owned by Disney. So I'm thinking that because I went there, I took photos there, I shared the event, that people at Disney discovered me. And just a few days later, I was contacted by Disney to attend my first Disney event, which was like an ice cream event in Ample Hills in Los Angeles. It was like an ice cream shop that just opened, and they were coming out with a new Disney collection for Mickey's 90th birthday, I think. And I went to that because, again, I was like, this is a Disney event. I'm definitely 100% going to this thing to open the doors to potentially work with Disney again. So I guess it all started kind of randomly. If I had said no to that one random opportunity from Box Lunch, then who knows if I would have been where I am today. But when it comes to working with other kinds of brands like I do today, it's either they do reach out to me kind of randomly, or I purposely try to be discovered by these brands, as in like Shein. So for Shein, my goal was to be discovered by Shein. So I actually would purchase Shein products just on my own, and then share videos and like hauls about them and tag them in my photos and stuff. And eventually, I think like 2 months after I started doing that, Shein themselves reached out to me and were like, hey, we'll send you clothes if you continue to make these videos and these posts. So that's how I started with Shein. And then with other brands, I either do the same thing, where I share about them first, and then I either reach out to them or they end up reaching out to me. Yeah, and that's pretty much how me working with these brands work. They either reach out to me or I share about them, be like, hey, I really like your brand. Can we work together? Yeah.
That's so cool, because I know I've always been interested in that, like seeing what some of my favorite YouTubers, and then they do those collab videos. I was like, wow, they're so cool. Okay, but our next question is, you are about to come out with the book, so can you tell us more about what the book is about, and then what's the process like of writing a book and then publishing it?
Okay, so exciting. So my book is called Casual Cosplay, and it's about character-inspired outfits. It's pretty much a step-by-step guide on how I put together my outfits. And well, the process of how I wrote the book, or how I got this opportunity, was also very weird. Again, random. I got an email from a publisher called Tiller Press, and the email made it seem like they wanted me to promote a book, like they're going to send me a book so I could post about it. And I was like, not really interested. So I kind of ignored it for like 2 weeks. And then I was going through my emails again, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll see what their proposal is and what this book is about that they want me to promote. So I email them, and they're like, oh, well, if you're interested, can we schedule a call? Which was really weird, because usually with these kinds of opportunities. It's all just through email, like what are your rates, and this is what we want you to promote, and this is how we want you to promote it. But this one, they actually wanted to call me, which I thought was really weird, because I'm like, everything could be done through email, but okay. So I called them and they're like, yeah, so we want you to write the book. I was like, oh, you don't want me to promote a book that already exists? Like, you want me to write one? Like, that's just so random. And they're like, yeah. So we came across, I don't know what they came across, either my YouTube videos or Instagram or blog or something, but we came across your content, and we noticed that you are really into Disney bounding, and we noticed that there's no book on Disney bounding, so we want you to write the book. And at first I was like, well, I think the first person that you should reach out to is the person who created Disney bounding. And for those of you who are not familiar with Disney bounding, it's actually created by someone. It was coined by someone named Leslie Kay, and it was her blog called Disney Bound. She put it together because she wanted to put character-inspired outfits together for her next trip to Disney World, and then that kind of just like blew up. So I was like, you should reach out to her to write the book. And they're like, oh yeah, we reached out to her already and she's not interested. I was like, oh, okay, then sure, I'll write it. So originally the book was going to be called Disney Bounding, but then a few months later, Leslie Kay comes out saying that she is writing a book called Disney Bounding. And I was like, oh, well, what's going to happen now? So we switched it up, and instead of specifically like Disney characters, we also added in like other characters as well from Cartoon Network and Harry Potter and different fandoms like that. And we changed the name to Casual Cosplay, which is essentially Disney bounding, but not just limited to Disney characters. So after that whole debacle of a Disney bounding book actually coming out in the middle of me trying to write this book, we changed it up, and I was able to like write the book fairly easily. I've always been like a good writer in school. The difficult part was to get the photos, because this is a very photo heavy book, because I want to show you all the different outfits. And the reason it was so difficult is because I was writing this book essentially during a pandemic, right at like the worst possible time, when fear for this virus was so high and everyone was just absolutely terrified to leave their homes. Nobody wanted to take photos for my book. So that was quite a struggle. In the end, however, before the lockdown happened, I was able to rile up a few of my friends and have a backyard photo shoot to get the photos for all of the outfits. So after we got the photos that I needed, then I spent probably like 11 hours a day writing the rest of the book to meet my deadline. And after that, I actually had to go to the hospital because, as you can imagine, spending 11 hours a day in front of the computer will mess up your eyes. So that was a little like funny but not funny thing that happened to me when I was writing my book. But yeah, in the end, I was able to meet my deadline. I got the number of photos that they told me I needed. And after that, it was just the publishers doing, like, they went and they ran it through their editors. They gave the photos to their graphic design artists, and for probably a couple months, I didn't hear back from them. So my deadline was April. I didn't hear back from them till like August. And when I heard back from them in August, they said, because of the pandemic, we're probably going to have to postpone your book release from October 2020 to June 2021. And I was heartbroken, but at the same time, I was kind of excited because this also gave me the opportunity to add some more people in. Since it's going to be postponed, I was like, well, I would like to add more people in, because when I was pressed for time in the beginning of the year, nobody wanted to take photos. And maybe now I could do like little sweepstakes or something for a chance to be in my book. So in October, I did 31 days of casual cosplay, where I encouraged people to share their casual cosplays. on Instagram for a chance to be in my book. And it was so much fun. I was so glad that a lot of people actually participated in it, and it was so amazing. So I was able to choose a very, very limited amount of people. I was only able to choose 3 people because I do have some limitations on what could be like in the photo. Like you can't take the photo on Disney property or private property. You can't have any brand showing it. You can't have like a character's face on your clothes. So, and like other things like that. So there were a lot of amazing outfits, but it was very selective. But I was still really glad that I was able to add some more people to the book. So then after October, I sent in the other photos, and I haven't heard back until February of 2021. And now we're planning like the marketing and all the nitty-gritty details of the release for the book. So that's pretty much been my book journey. It was very strange, very different because of the fact that, you know, I essentially wrote this during a pandemic. But yeah.
Dulce left us, but that's awesome. Congratulations on your book. And I think that was very informative for Dulce, because I know one thing Dulce would like to do in the future is write her own book. She's very into that stuff as well. So thank you for sharing that.
Well, oh yeah, hopefully you guys don't have to write it during a pandemic.
Okay, so you guys just heard a lot of information about Krystal's book coming out called Casual Cosplay. So make sure when it comes out, when will it be coming out?
It's coming out June. Oh my gosh, I always get confused whether it's June 5th or June 8th. It's coming out in June. It's available for pre-sale now.
Where can we get our copies?
It off Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and BAM, which is Books A Million.
So go grab your copy, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, so now we kind of want to talk about like theme parks, just because we have talked about theme parks in previous episodes. And first thing we wanted to ask you was, are you more of a Disneyland or Disney World person?
Oh, I'm definitely more of a Disneyland person, only because I grew up here and Disneyland was the only theme park I was able to go to, like Disney-wise. I've only ever been to Disney World once. So yeah, it's kind of biased, but I would definitely choose Disneyland.
Don't worry. I'm the same. I've been to Disney World once, but it's amazing. I love it. Like, it's definitely much bigger, but I'm definitely, I think, more of a Disneyland person as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say is your favorite ride at Disneyland?
I really love Space Mountain. That ride is just so fun all the time. I love that you're just like in darkness and you're just going super duper fast, and the music that they're playing is just so like hype. It's so fun, like the wind blowing in your face and the fact that you can't see where you're going, and the music is just so fun, especially when they do so the regular Space Mountain soundtrack is fantastic, but I also really love the Hyperspace Mountain soundtrack as well, so it's like you're in a Star Wars movie, and that's really fun too. But yeah, I would definitely say Space Mountain is my favorite.
Now, I don't know if you would go to Disneyland like growing up, but if you did, was there ever like a ride that you were afraid to go on?
So when I would go when I was younger, I think I was scared of Haunted Mansion, only because like the whole ride is fine, but at the end when they told you that a ghost is gonna follow you home, I got so freaked out every time. And I would like look behind me and I'm like, I don't see it. Did it lose me? Is it not following me anymore? Like, I was genuinely scared. So definitely that was the only part I didn't like in Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, and then for your cosplays, what has been your favorite outfit, like cosplay character you've taken to Disneyland or Disney World?
Oh, the first time I ever dressed up at Disneyland was during Dapper Day, and it wasn't even a Dapper Day outfit. I was just like so nervous because I would always see people dressing up at Disneyland, and I was like, I want to do that, but like I'm too nervous to do that. So when Dapper Day came, that's kind of like a mini holiday event or something that they have at Disneyland where they dress like in 50s style, but people are dressed up. I didn't really know how to dress up in 50s style, but all I knew was that people were going to dress up. And I wanted to dress up. So I dressed up as Princess Leia because I love her. She's my favorite princess. I don't know if like she counts as actually a favorite princess, but if she does, then Princess Leia is my favorite. So I dressed up as Princess Leia, and I got so many like compliments and stuff. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? I love this. I love dressing up at Disneyland and just dressing up in general. I'm going to continue doing this. So I love the Princess Leia look because, well, first of all, I could pull it off because I have the hair. So I look like her kind of. And then the outfit's really easy to put together. It's just all white. And then I love Princess Leia in general. So it all worked out. So yeah, she's my first casual cosplay Disney bound I've ever did. She's an awesome character, easy to put together, kind of look like her. 10 out of 10, my favorite.
All right, my last Disney question is that are there any Disney secrets you know of that, like, not a lot of people know?
Disney secrets? Not really. I know there's like a lot of people who have like all this trivia, but not really. The only kind of like trivia thing that I know is that there's a tree that holds up the sign for the Indiana Jones ride in Adventureland. And if you look down at the stump of that tree, there's a little house there. It's like the size of a little mouse house there. There's a little door there. Sometimes there's a light on. And I feel like not a lot of people know that. So that's like the only little trivia that I know of.
Well, I definitely, once this all comes to an end and I go next time, I have to check that out.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm a big Universal fan, and I feel like you could probably tell because during our live conversations, I'm always like Universal.
Yeah.
And I've been to Universal Orlando and Hollywood here. It's really hard to choose, but I guess in your perspective, I know you're more of a Disney fan, but which one do you enjoy more?
Well, I feel like it's not fair because I have never been to the one in Florida, and I heard that the one in Florida is like a million times better than the one that they have here in California. So, with that in mind, I would say Disney is way better than, Disneyland is way better than Universal Studios here in California. Again, I can't compare the ones in Florida because I've only ever been to one of the parks over there in Florida, and it was a really long time ago before they even had like a bunch of cool stuff. Like they didn't have the Avatar ride. They didn't have, I don't know what else is new over there, but pretty much it wasn't as cool as it is right now. Because like again, I think I went like in 2009 or 2010 or something, and it was again a really long time ago. We didn't have the cool stuff there. So if I do have to choose between Universal and Disneyland, I would go to Disneyland hands down.
Because I know we talked about this a little bit during our live sections that you say you really like the event for Halloween Horror Nights that they have. So I guess what is your experience with that? And how do you feel? Because like I'm really scared to go to it, and I think I already told you this, but I don't have the guts to do that. I think I'm really scared. So I applaud you for being super brave to do that. So what's like your favorite thing about it? Like, do you have a favorite maze?
Okay, yeah. Okay, when it comes to the Halloween events, Universal wins for sure. I know Disney does like a Mickey Not So Scary event here in Disneyland, California, but it's cool, but it's not as like immersive and thrilling as the one in Universal. And I've also gone to other like scary events in what was the other one I went to? Not Scary Farm, which is cool as well. But I don't know. There's something about Universal. I think it's because like that's where they film movies and stuff, that all the monsters and all the mazes are just like so dang scary and so fun, and everyone in costume is just like such high quality as well. So when it comes to the horror nights, the Halloween events, then for sure I choose Universal Studios. But anywho, yes, I really love those events. I like the fact that they're not ever allowed to touch you, so they could just like scream in your face and like scare you, and that's it. The haunted hayride things where you have to sign a waiver and they could like touch you, I don't like those. Like I would not do those. That's too scary, because in my mind I'd be like, what if somebody who doesn't work here shows up and like actually tries to kill me? Like I won't know. I would think that they're like faking it. But for Universal, they're not allowed to touch you, so it's fine. And when it comes to favorite maze, oh, I don't remember what my favorite maze would be. I think probably I really like the Walking Dead maze that they had. So the Backlot tour, they changed it to the Walking Dead theme, and it was when The Walking Dead was like really big, and I was actually a really big fan of the show as well. And they made it so that I don't know if you've ever, I'm sure you've been onto the tour at Universal, but there's a part where you go through War of the Worlds, I think. So it's already all messed up and stuff because it's the set of War of the Worlds. So you go through this like disheveled town, and it's already spooky as it is going through there at night, but then you add the zombies in there and it's even scarier. So I think that was probably my favorite like maze experience for Universal.
It's funny because the last time I went there was in 2019 for my birthday. And I remember going to the Walking Dead attraction. Have you been on it?
Oh yeah.
So I went with my mom and I'm like, I'm going to be brave today. I'm going to be just put everything aside. I was screaming like,
oh no. Yeah, then you would not like Universal because when that one opened, the Walking Dead attraction, I went through it and I was like, oh, it's gonna be so fun. But I was like, oh, that was kind of lame. So if you're scared of that, then the tram what's it called? The tram maze that they did was again way more immersive. It was out in the open, so like people, like the zombies, could just like run at you anywhere. Whereas opposed to the attraction where you're kind of in the small space where you're like, oh, they'll probably pop out of there or whatever. But maybe it was just because I'm more experienced in that. So for you who doesn't really go to attractions like that, then I'm sure it was like, oh, that was like random popping out of nowhere kind of deal. But for me, it could kind of already predict where people are going to pop out from.
I guess I'm going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party next time.
Too.
Yeah, you'll be good there. No one tries to scare you there.
We're gonna get free candy, yay!
Yay.
I guess for Universal, what's your favorite ride? Because I know you like the Harry Potter part of it a lot. But is that your favorite ride, or do you have another one?
Well, my favorite ride used to be the Jurassic Park ride, but they recently changed it to Jurassic World, and I haven't been on the Jurassic World yet, but I have seen like YouTube videos on it, and I'm like, oh, they took out like so many of my favorite parts of Jurassic Park, the ride, and so I was kind of bummed about that. So I mean, I would say Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World. When it was Jurassic Park, that was my favorite ride. And then again, I haven't been there in a while. So I would probably just have to say the Hogwarts ride. I don't know what it's called. In Hogsmeade, or I guess at Hogwarts. Yeah, I've only ever been there once. I've only ever ridden it once, but it was good. It's a good ride. It scared the heck out of me when the Dementors came out, and I was like, oh my gosh. I think my ride actually got stuck on that part, so I was just like in front of a Dementor for like a couple minutes. I was like, yay.
Yeah, that ride is just like, it takes you front, back, like you're just like a full circle.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, I agree on the Jurassic Park thing for sure. Jurassic Park was amazing. Jurassic World, we don't know her.
Yes, thank you.
Dulce, but you have to show your shirt. Show your shirt.
Oh yeah, I got excited because I know that you're like, I look up to you with the amusement park things, so I ended up wearing my my Jurassic Park shirt right here.
Yes.
Yes. No Jurassic World here. So we've kind of slowly talked about this a little bit, but you like Harry Potter, and what house are you in?
I'm a Ravenclaw. Yay. Yes, I am a proud Ravenclaw. For the longest time, I didn't want to know what house I was because I loved all of them. I feel like all the houses are fantastic in their own way. And I was like, man, I don't want to commit to just one. But in the end, I need to know what house I'm in. And I was sorted into Ravenclaw. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm happy with my house.
Yeah, it took me a while to accept mine too. It was Hufflepuff, but then it changed to Gryffindor.
So which one do you identify with more?
I don't know. I do believe that like all the house's qualities fit into one person, and that's possible.
Yeah.
But I do have to say I'm a Gryffindor. So 10 points Gryffindor and Ravenclaw.
Yay.
Joanna needs to take the test, Joe. We have to work on that.
Yeah, take the test. Yeah.
We gotta figure it out.
Maybe I have to work on watching the movies first. Yeah, we talked about it before. I've never watched the Harry Potter movies.
Okay, that's a definite. You need to do that first, so you know what the heck's going on.
I mean, it is intimidating. Like, imagine how long they are, and there's like 8 movies. So it's like,
Yeah,
wow.
honestly, I would say just watch the first one. Just watch the first one, and you get the gist of it, and like you'll be fine.
It's like a repeating pattern after
Yeah,
that.
essentially.
If you could play Quidditch, would you play Quidditch? What position? If not, what type of like class would you teach at Hogwarts if you can just choose anything?
Ooh, okay. Well, since I was very like active in school, I was in sports, I would probably want to play Quidditch. I don't know what position I want to be in. Whatever one is least likely for me to get beat up or knocked off my broom or something. I mean, Secret seemed cool. Like you're only focused on catching the snitch. So maybe, but I feel like everybody chooses that because that's Harry Potter's. That's what Harry Potter does. But I would probably want to play that or like some other sport if they had other sports on at Hogwarts. And if I could choose to teach a class, probably potions seems pretty cool. Like I probably want to teach potions.
Yay, that sounds fun. I mean, I wouldn't know what position to play either. I just thought it was a
Yeah.
fun question to ask.
Yeah, it is a fun question to ask. I'll probably try out for the team, and like if I made it, then I would definitely like to play it.
Well, one last question. From you've talked about that you like the Halloween portion of Universal better than Disney, but out of all the events that both Universal and Disney create, like what's your favorite?
Let's see. Well, I could only really think of the Halloween Horror Nights one as an event because all the other events, like the 90s theme nights or like Star Wars night or like everything else that's different, like separate admission from Disneyland, I would never actually go to because I'm like, that's expensive. So I can't really say when it comes to those events because I haven't been to any. I've been to like part of Mickey's Not So Scary because they just didn't kick me out and I was already in the park and I kind of got to see what it was like. But then eventually they're like, hey, you don't have a wristband, you got to get out. And I was like, okay, don't ban me from Disneyland, please. So I left. And people are saying that it's not really worth $80 because you just get free candy. There's like picture spots, but it's at night and you can't really like take nice pictures there. And it's just okay. So I never really go to the Disney at night events. But Halloween Horror Nights, now that's fun. That's a lot of fun. I look forward to it every year. I was sad that it was canceled last year, and I hope that it comes back this year. The only hard thing about that is that it's hard to find people to go with because don't say you're not alone. Like there's a lot of people who are really scared to go to those things. Like I feel like every single one of my friends, one of my close friends, they're too scared to go. So it's like, who am I going to go with? I have to drag my husband to go with me every single time.
If you can create any maze, what kind of maze would you like? What characters would you love to see in a maze? Or would you bring back a maze?
I mean, it'd be so cool if they made a Harry Potter maze where you go through the forest or something and then like the mentors are like following you. Oh, that would be so cool. So that's probably a maze that I would want to see. Oh my gosh. And then like there's a scene where, oh, that would be so scary. Let's say you're walking through the forest and then you see Voldemort sucking the blood off a unicorn. Oh my gosh. And then like you see the giant spider. Oh yes.
Universal, where you at? Where
Yes,
you at,
exactly.
Universal?
That would be such a good maze.
Now we are gonna transition. I know you said that you did like sports when you were in school. So we kind of wanted to talk about a little bit about college because we're high school seniors right now and we're getting our college admissions and decision letters back. So just wanted to know like what was your process like in like the college full process thing?
Well, for me, so I mean, I didn't want to go to like a super expensive school like USC or something like that. I wanted to go somewhere affordable. And I went to Cal State Fullerton, which is actually kind of close to Disneyland. A lot of people who went to Cal State Fullerton also worked at Disneyland, which I thought was kind of funny. But my process, I mean, I was a really big nerd in school. So I graduated with a 4.2 GPA, top 15 in my class. Got the sash and everything, and I was easily accepted into Cal State Fullerton and actually got a full ride there, and I didn't have to pay for college, which was really nice. So I would say that my admissions process was fairly easy just because I had worked so dang hard my entire like school career. So Cal State Fullerton was actually the only college I applied to because again, it was affordable and I had a very high chance of being accepted. So I only applied to one, which is good because I think that you actually have to pay every time you apply somewhere, which I'm like, dang, that's expensive. I know some people applied to like 20 places. I was like, oh my gosh, you probably spent like hundreds of dollars just applying to colleges. But yeah, I just applied to the one and I got accepted, and then they gave me a scholarship, and it was a good experience overall. Oh yeah, I remember having to take the SAT or something. I didn't get like amazing score on the SAT, but luckily my grades were really good and I was in sports, so that's what really helped. And yeah, I feel like it was a fairly smooth process because again, I was quite the nerd and I made sure to do absolutely everything I needed to do right on time. And yeah, so sorry that I wasn't like very detailed on it.
No, it's really great. Thank you. What sport did you play? Because I know Joanna, she over here, she was a soccer player.
Mhm.
What? So what sport did you play? I always wanted to play basketball, but I never put myself out there, which I kind of regret, but hopefully college, here we come.
Well, that'd be a lot of fun if you joined the sport. But I played. I mean, I didn't. I don't want to consider playing it because I ran cross country. Cross country. I did one season of wrestling, but I didn't like it because I didn't want to hurt people. But I technically did one season of wrestling, volleyball, and track, and yeah, just track. So I was mostly a runner.
You were athletic then, because soccer is a lot of running, and that was not my favorite thing.
Oh, really? I feel like I would be fine with the running portion of soccer, but the part where you have to like kick. There was one time where I was in middle school and I accidentally kicked someone's shin, and then they started crying. And I was like, oh man, I don't like soccer anymore. I accidentally kicked someone in the shin and like hurt them. So I liked running a lot better because we all stay in our own lanes. We all just leave each other alone, and we could just like, it's just the fastest person wins, and that's it. You don't have to actually like come into contact with anyone, which I thought was great. But yeah, soccer is a lot of hard work.
And for when you went to Fullerton, what was your major?
I majored in communications with a focus or an emphasis in entertainment and tourism.
That's kind of similar to what you want to major in, no? Don't say. It's like, is that kind of related to English in a way, or no?
No, not really, because English is more like writing, and communications is more like PR, and which I mean they are kind of similar because you can get into journalism in communications, or you could just play a major in journalism. But English I feel is more like literature, and it's more like literature and like if you want to become an author and things like that. But communications is more like learning how to speak to the masses.
And what made you want to do that major? Like, did you know from an early age that you wanted that, or you like went in undecided? And
I went in with a psychology major because I thought I was going to become a psychiatrist, because I like listening to people, I like talking to people and helping them through their issues. However, once I actually took my first psychology class in college, and I learned that it's like 10 plus years more of school, and you have to like you have to work for a basically work under another psychiatrist for a while, and then the only way you could really make a good amount of money is if you open your own practice, and that takes a lot of time, and you need to like build your clientele. And I'm just like, no, that's too much work. So I'm going to change my major, and I kind of randomly changed it to communications. I was like, which one's the major that has the least amount of math? Oh, communications. All right, I'll change it to communications. So luckily I actually really really loved that major, and I changed it my very first year of college, so I didn't have to like redo any classes or anything, so it all worked out absolutely perfectly. So I would suggest to you to take, if you're going to major in English, take a bunch of English courses, and if you love it, then you could continue with your English major. But if you just happen to hate it, hey, at least you took it your first year, and like immediately that you don't want to continue. I'm so grateful that I took that psychology class that first year, because if I had waited and I took it like my later years, then I may have just like wasted like a year or two being in a major that I didn't want to be in. So yeah.
So it's all about like experiences.
Yes, definitely experience the things that you, even the things that you believe that you would like, but then also college kind of makes you try things that you would never actually try yourself. Like you have to redo all the sciences, and like they make you do like well, at least my college did. It made you do like a speech course or a theater course, like something related to like public speaking. So even if you don't think that you like public speaking, they kind of make you do it as a requirement. So maybe if you take that class, you may find that you love public speaking, kind of things like that. So college is definitely a time to like discover your actual interests. So yeah, just be aware of that. You may be so set on one thing, and then you actually try it. You're like, oh, I hate this, or oh, you know what? Yes, I do actually really love this. So yeah.
I mean, it's funny because from a young age, I was like, I'm going to be a fashion designer. And then I grew up and now I'm like, wow, I want to be an English something. I want to write a book.
That's like so
Or I want to
different.
be a journalist.
Yeah.
All right, and you got into, well, you went to Fullerton, and both Dulce and I were accepted to Fullerton, and we
Oh,
wanted,
congratulations.
thank you. So we just wanted to know, like, what was your experience there at Fullerton? Did you really enjoy it? Any tips for that school?
I really enjoyed Cal State Fullerton, not gonna lie. It's very affordable. But I mean, they did pay for my school, so like that plays a big part of it. But also, if you didn't immediately get a scholarship right off the bat, if you get good grades, you can apply for it, and they could potentially give you scholarships based on your grades then. But yeah, they had excellent facilities. The campus is beautiful. They have a bunch of places to get help. Their library is very helpful as well. But they also within that library, I believe they also have like tutors in there, like people that you could talk to help you, which I thought was fantastic. What else did they have there? Oh, they have like their health services section. So even if like you get hurt, you need a band-aid, you need something health wise, you can go there as well. It's just like everything that you need is on campus. If you need to relax, there's I think it's called the TSU, Titan Student Union, because you're a Titan if you go to Cal State Fullerton. And it's like a place where you could buy food and you could relax and you can meet other people. They have a bunch of clubs that are also really great and fantastic for meeting new people. I know that Cal State Fullerton is known to be a commuter college, so people just go to school and then after they're done with their classes, they just leave. But I would suggest that you join clubs and you meet new people, because I mean, not only is it great to just like have a bunch of friends in school and stuff, but also networking really helps in getting a job after college. So I would definitely suggest joining a club and being sociable, because you never know who you're going to meet, and if they will know if they either them themselves or they know someone who can help you in your future career. And then one of the things I did not like about Cal State Fullerton is their parking. Their parking is terrible. Always make sure that you get there at least like 20 minutes early before your class, because I mean, you're gonna have a hard time finding parking. I mean, I don't know how it's changed with the COVID-19 and stuff, but with my experience, it was always so hard to find parking every single day. So just so you know.
Oh yeah, we gotta definitely arrive early, but I feel like I kind of got accustomed to that because the high school we go to right now, when we were in person, same situation, bad parking. There was not even enough parking for the teachers and the teacher parking. Sometimes they had to park farther than the students that would drive to school. So yeah.
Must be nice to relate that you have driver's license. I don't.
Oh.
Someday.
It's a work in progress. Okay, well, another thing that I wanted to ask about college is that I know a lot of times people always criticize like college food. So I feel like that's a big part because you're eating there at the school. So how was the Fullerton food?
The Fullerton food was actually pretty good, not gonna lie. It was a step up from high school food, that's for sure. Where at high school food you get this like soggy meal, but in at Fullerton they actually have an on-site Starbucks, an on-site Carl's Jr. And then right across the street, there's like a Togo's, and they're just like regular restaurants you could go to. So you don't have to actually eat the on-campus food. But even the on-campus food, they have like a little like to-go section where you can get like sandwiches or pre-packed, I don't know what else, like oatmeal probably. But you know, it wasn't bad, not gonna lie. And none of their food is actually that bad. It was pretty good actually.
I think that's all the questions we have, including college, right, Joe? Or do you have anything you want to add?
No, that was my last question. So
Yeah, thank you so much.
I could just wrap up. Like, and we just wanted to ask you one more question. So, do you have any advice for anyone that wants to be like a YouTuber, influencer, or anything like in the social media world?
Definitely. A couple tips. If you haven't started yet, start. Just do it. Just go ahead and start. I know there's a lot of people who want to be social media people, either YouTuber, Instagram, TikTok, but they're afraid to start. They're afraid of what others might, I don't know, think of them, or I don't know, they want to start off being awesome right at the start. But you can always build on top of that. If you don't have the best lighting, if you don't have the best camera, like it's okay. You just start and you'll learn along the way. So that's one tip for those of you who haven't started yet but want to, because I know for me, it took me a couple months to finally start my YouTube channel because I was nervous. What will my family think? Even though I was like, I'm not doing anything bad or embarrassing, I was just like scared to be on the internet and like, you know, put myself out there. And it is very intimidating if you've never really done it before. So I would suggest just start, try and do your best, and then you can learn along the way. And if you are already trying your best to say become an Instagrammer or a YouTuber again, and you're not seeing that growth that you want to, then I would definitely suggest that you do some collaborations. Collaborations help a lot. It helps discover you, because otherwise I don't really see how people can really find you unless, of course, you're also sharing or posting shareable content. Shareable content is kind of hard to explain quickly, but essentially, is your content informational? Is it sensational? And is it easily replicated? Because those are the kinds of content that get shared. So if you're not sharing those kinds of content, you want to try it out, see if you get more attention from it, then definitely try that out as well. And then also, again, the collaborations, find people who share similar content to you and have a different, but like slightly different followers than you. So you could expose each other to each other's followers and then grow from there as well. So yeah, those are the tips I have for you today.
Dulce, you see, we kind of got a head start. Okay, so, but
Here I go.
we're gonna expose ourselves a little. Okay, so Dulce has been wanting to start a channel for a while now. I think she's working on that, but I started one for like a short period of time. I ended up quitting it. I don't know, but when I did have it, Dulce and I did a collab. See, we got it, Dulce, even though I quit. We did the collab. We did a baking collab, although she was on the phone because it happened in the pandemic.
Oh yeah,
My phone was just there. She was on the little screen.
that's funny. So you guys were baking together but collabing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. Yeah, I mean, like she has a YouTube channel. I'm still waiting on new content, but it's okay. I've always wanted to start one, so this is really inspirational. So thank you so much. Also, I do want to bring this up because this is something that we've been planning for a long time for this podcast. So I remember during one of the lives, someone asked you about acting, or like how do you get into roles about acting? And do you have any advice on that aspect of it?
On acting, I've actually never been like in an acting role, so I don't have any advice. I'm so sorry. Yeah, the only experience I have in acting kind of was when Disney hired me to film a commercial for their Frozen Adventures game, like their mobile game. So they took me to D23, which is like their Disney convention, and they had me film a commercial there where they gave me some lines, and I was so nervous that the pitch of my voice is like 10 times higher than it normally is. and I was speaking like 5 times faster than normal. And I was very nervous and I couldn't remember my lines. So I am a very like not good person to ask about acting. But again, that was another opportunity that just came along with the whole social media thing. Oh, I never mentioned that the whole reason I actually wanted to be on social media and make this my career is because when I was younger, I did want to model, but I only grew to 5'2". And to model, you had to be at least 5'8". And I was like, well, there goes my hopes and dreams. But that's when I found out that Bethany Moda was modeling for, I forget what, Aerie or American Eagle or something like that. And I was like, what? She's like my height. I think she's like 5'5", but still. And the fact that she was like modeling, and I was like, wait, why did she get this opportunity? It was because she has a large following on YouTube. Okay, well now I want to have a large following on YouTube so that maybe one day those opportunities could open up to me. And sure enough, after a few years of working on social media and building my following, those opportunities have opened up. Similarly, if you are wanting to get into acting, like in the non-traditional way, you want to do it through social media. I know that like Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae from TikTok, since they became so popular, now they're moving into mainstream media. And I believe Addison Rae is coming out with a movie in a couple years. So if you want to take the social media route to acting, then you could do it too. But the normal acting, like applying to go to auditions and stuff, again, I don't really know too much about it, but I know that's the normal way. Like you could go onto some websites where you could apply to attend auditions. And then you have to drive to LA and audition, and then hopefully you get a call back and like stuff like that. So yeah, I don't really know too much about it, but I know that much.
So yeah, thank you so much. That was really helpful. It's because we wanted to do something like that. We wanted to kind of experiment us being like actors and then just kind of giving our experience on the podcast. So that's something we wanted to do, and I wanted to ask if that's something you've done.
Okay, yeah, I haven't done it, but I know some people who have, and they explained to me what their experience is. It's a lot of driving for sure. Like my friend, she's an actress, and she was telling me that she always has to drive to LA for all these auditions, and like she has to sit in traffic for like 2 hours and then go to an audition that takes like 10 minutes and then not get a call back. So I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible. But I mean, if that's your dream, then it's definitely worth it, because eventually one day you're going to get casted and it could be your big break and you could be the next like big star. So I mean, it depends on how passionate you are about it and how much time you want to put into it. Time and money as well, because I mean, driving all that way, it takes up a lot of money. Plus in LA, for the most part, you have to pay anywhere you park. So yeah.
So those were our last questions. So thank you so much for being here and sharing about your book and your career on social media. I'm sure everyone will enjoy it. And let us know, everyone, what you thought about it. And make sure to go and how do you say it? Is it pre-save?
Pre-order.
Oh, pre-order. Sorry, I'm not an author.
Oh, no worries.
Pre-order Krystal's book, Casual Cosplay, and it's available Barnes and Noble, Amazon,
Books a Million.
All right, so there you go. So thank you so much again for being here, and we'll see you next week, everyone.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's been so much fun.
Oh, of course, thank you so much. Don't forget to follow us on our socials
at Lemon Talk Podcast on Instagram, at Lemon Talk Podcast on TikTok, at Lemon Talk Pod. That's Lemon Talk POD on Twitter.
Don't forget to follow Krystal on our socials.
So on Instagram, it's at Krystal Everdeen. My YouTube channel is also Krystal Everdeen, and TikTok at Krystal Everdeen. So everything's at Krystal Everdeen. If you want to go ahead and follow me on there, that would be really awesome. And let me know that you came from Lemon Talk, because I think that'd be really fun to know.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Krystal, so much for being here, and we're super excited to read your book. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much again, and I hope you have a magical day.
All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.